welcome to day 2 of my DIY Sprinter van build. I am in the beginning stages of turning this van into a camper. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Nate, and this is actually my second ever camper van build. Again, this is day 2, so it doesn't look like we've done much. If you want to see what we did in day 1, you can go back to my channel and watch that video. In this video, we're going to be installing some sound deadening on the van panels before we insulate it. Speaking about insulation, we should be able to get the start of it done in this video. I'm going to be sealing up the trim on the outside of the van. I also want to install a window on the sliding door of my van as well. But some of you that are up to date on my van build day 1 know I'm waiting for a tube of primer to install the window. I am still waiting for that primer. And while I was ordering new primer, I decided to buy a bunk window for the bed. So I'm really hoping the bunk window, primer, and insulation comes in time before I leave for my trip on the 29th. It is currently September 20th. So we have 9 days for all that stuff to show up. But why don't we just jump into it and install some Kilmat in the van while we can. All right, so here's my idea for using the Kilmat. I don't have a crazy amount of this stuff, so I think I'm going to use one sheet for every panel, but I'm just going to cut it up into 3 sections, put one along each one of these strips. And by the way, my dad's going to be sitting in the garage judging my every move, so he'll be here as a little bit of company. I will. And just as a little before and after test, that is before on only one panel. All right, and this is the after result. A little bit denser, a little bit less boxy, I guess you could say. This stuff is heavier than I thought too. Like, did you feel the
plywood?
Yeah. Guess I gotta get that plywood out of the wind. And you know, I don't think this is a necessary upgrade to make. You know, it's decently cheap. It doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, it's not labor intensive, or, you know, not that that matters, but
like, I didn't do this in my first van, right? So to be honest, I don't think it's very noisy at all.
Smaller van though.
That's true. And I don't remember if I've ever mentioned in one of my videos before, but this van is actually for him. So I'm kind of designing everything in relation to his needs and his wants. He does lots of biking and skydiving, so we're trying to make this the ultimate biking skydiving van.
I'm pretty stoked actually about this van because, well, some recent things we were talking about, I'm just really excited with especially with the bed and the way the back's going to be.
It's going to be pretty sweet. I think this is looking awesome so far, and I do actually have a little bit of spares left, so I'm going to try and get some of the bottom done, and if I have any more, I want to try and get some of the top done. But I'm pretty happy with what we have done so far. We've got most of the big panels done on the walls, and we have the entire roof done. So even if we can't get that much more around the top and bottom, I'm pretty satisfied with what we've got. But with some editing magic, I'm going to get all of this done right now. So you can see I did a bit of the top, and I had to start cutting them smaller because I would have run out if I didn't. And I wasn't able to get any along the bottom. And pro tip from someone that just installed Kilmat in their van, 18 square feet, which is around what I got, is a little bit too small for a 170 extended high roof. It is totally dark out. My dad has cooked us some steaks for dinner, so I'm gonna head inside, eat some steaks, and I'll see you tomorrow to seal the trim of the exterior of the van. So I'll see you there. All right, and we're back. Our start time today is a little bit later than yesterday, and I realized while editing these videos, I tend to record way more than is necessary. So I'm gonna try and shorten down this video a little bit. I'm gonna show you how to seal one of these trims, and then just give you a time lapse of the rest of them to try and shorten down on this video. So let me show you at least how I seal these trims. To get this trim off, you probably want to use some sort of plastic crowbar. The only thing I have that's not going to damage the van and is actually going to work is a wrench with like a rubber handle, and you just kind of stick it under the trim. You kind of just gotta pry it back. There, and just like that, our trim is off. And now the clips that actually stayed in the van, we have to remove those. And the best way I found to remove these clips is to just get a little screwdriver, get behind it, and you're able to push these little tabs down. You gotta do that on both sides. And once you're able to get both, it comes out just like that. And after taking these out, you can see that they're very dirty. And it's not gonna create a perfect seal if we just seal it like this. So we're gonna take these, and we're just going to toss them into a little bath of soapy hot water. Sometimes you'll get a few stuck actually in the trim. So to get rid of these, I grab some needle nose pliers. I try to pinch on both sides and as far down as I can get and pull it out like that. And of course we're going to be sealing around these holes, so we kind of need to clean this whole area as well. We're going to take these out of the water and just give them a quick wipe. And after you're done cleaning it, you can easily push it back into place like that. All right, and we're done. And the sealant I'm using for this is Sikaflex. It doesn't need to be anything special. It just needs to seal this onto some metal. And now we're just going to put a bead of sealant all the way around this clip. There we go, we got our trim ready to go, ready to get put back in the van. All right, and this is pretty easy. You basically just push it back on into place. Although I do suggest you try and get this corner in first, because that's going to be the hardest part. But that's pretty much it to sealing the trim. I'm gonna try and get 2 more of these done today, but it's a bit late out and it's a bit loud, so I don't want to wake any of the neighbors. I'm gonna try and get 2 more done tonight and finish the back side of the van tomorrow. So I'll send you off to the time lapse. After the second day of sealing the trim, it is all completed. And actually, while I was sealing the trim, my huge roll of 3M Thinsulate came in the mail. And I know I said I was content with how much sound deadening I put in here, but I actually ended up buying a new box because I forgot I really wanted to do the doors and the wheel wells. So you can see I put some pretty large panels on the wheel wells. I also completely filled in the bottom and the back doors, and I also put some in the sliding door. And while it is great that we got our huge roll of insulation, I do have a little bit of bad news. The bunk window and primer is not going to show up till October 1st. And if you remember what I said at the beginning of the video, I'm leaving on the 29th of September. So again, the window install is gonna have to be delayed another video. I know I said in my van build day 1 that I was gonna do it in this video, but I just can't. So I'm gonna try and get this van insulated as much as I can before I leave for my trip. Two layers can definitely fit in here, so I think I want to do that, but I don't know if I have enough Thinsulate to do the entire van like that. It's basically insulating it twice. I think I'm just going to do these 3 bottom pieces doubled up and just see how it looks and decide from there. Alright, I think that looks pretty good, and I do like the double layered Thinsulate. I think I'm just going to do it. If I end up needing to buy more of this stuff, then so be it, I'll get some more. I just want to make sure this van is insulated perfectly. My insulation is going to have like 2 stages. I'm going to have my Thinsulate doubled up in the actual cavity, and then I'm going to take my Durafoam and put it in between the furring strips just like this. And this is another thing I learned from Trent the Traveler. I think this is just genius the way he insulated his van. So I am stealing the way that he did it. All right, and that's what it looks like all taped up with the Durafoam in front. I think that looks awesome. And I don't plan on doing this for the whole van right now because I still need to wire everything in. And if all of this is in place, it's pretty hard to wire it all. So I'm gonna try and get this van as insulated as I can before my trip, but just without the Durafoam attached to it. Once again, the sky is dark. I was able to get most of the bottom done. I got all the way to right here and decided it was a little bit too late, so I'm gonna pack it in for tonight. This really takes a lot longer than you think it would, especially when you're doubling up the layers. You're basically doing twice the work. But I am going to continue with this tomorrow, so I'll see you then. All right, and we're back. We're gonna try and get most of the installation done today. I've got about an hour and a half to work right now. I'll be able to come back later tonight and finish up as much as I can. But I do have a feeling this is gonna go till tomorrow. We'll see. You know, this is tough stuff to cut through. And I've been using these scissors for so long now that I'm actually starting to lose some skin on the back of my thumb. I'm not a huge fan of sending you guys off to time lapses, but on times like this where it just literally takes so long, it's hard to, for one, keep the video short, but also keep you guys entertained, especially when I'm doing the same thing for hours on end. But you know, I'm just starting my content creation journey, and this is only day 2 of my van build. I'm still trying to figure out the right formula for van build videos, and eventually these videos are going to be amazing. Oh, and by the way, I'm just using some spray adhesive to attach my insulation. I would have gotten the 3M stuff, but they didn't have it at my hardware store. And I think this double layered insulation was definitely the way to go. This already looks like an amazing insulation job. And then once we put the Durafoam over it too, it's just gonna be, oh my God, it's gonna be so superb. Okay, so after a few days of insulating, we almost got the whole thing insulated. Couple things to mention though. This panel here I did not insulate because that one is going to hold the bunk window, and I left the big sliding door panel uninsulated because of course we're going to put a window in there once the primer finally comes in. I'm gonna say it again, but I'm hoping we can put the window in van build day 3. And the last thing to note here is I did not insulate the ceiling. That's because I have a few more things to do on the ceiling, and insulating it might make it a little bit harder to work on. But I think with this insulation mostly finished, that is going to be the end of our van build day 2. So let's quickly go over what we did in this video. The first thing we did was put some Kilmat everywhere in the van just to quiet it all up when you're driving. Next, we took some time to seal the trim on the outside of the van. And finally, we insulated almost the entire van. It is currently the 26th, so that means I leave in 3 days on my trip. And doing all that, I think is gonna make my trip a lot more enjoyable, especially this insulation. I'm actually really excited to go on this trip because it's gonna be my first taste of van life and filming van life. I'm gonna try my best to make 2, maybe even 3 videos when I'm on my trip. I'm going to try my best to make them super enjoyable videos, super cinematic videos. I am just getting into filmmaking, so I'm learning everything as I'm going. And hopefully with time, I can make amazing videos for you guys. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.